video, I will share with you, yes, you, my beloved viewers, secrets to finding, applying, and winning grant money to start your business and organization. First step is to find grant opportunities by accessing our spreadsheet, where I have included links to information resources and application portals to grants for everyone since the onset of the pandemic, helping fund tens of millions of dollars for America's entrepreneurs through the Paycheck Protection Program, grants/loans, the economic injury disaster loans. These are just some of the people who have gotten paid grants after watching our videos. $40,000, $10,000, $15,000 in rental assistance. Stop. And you can find opportunities such as the Digital Equity Competitive Grant, the Wave of Change Grant, the $3 million in $10,000 grants available from LegalZoom. You can access it by subscribing to our newsletter at bit.ly/Neil Rod. Simply enter in your name and email address, and the welcome email will equip you with all of these links to government grants, small business resources, and other tabs that I have included, and I'll present to you right on this video and show you watch it until the end, and so you can learn how to put together your very own spreadsheet full of programs where administrators are targeting people that fill an occupation just like the one that you perform on a daily basis, or run a business just like the one that you operate. Pick up the Grants for Everyone Secrets Unlocked ebook, where I will give you step-by-step instructions on how to seek out government and private grants. Now, I've got a countdown here because the number where prices are insane, the rock bottom number of $29 is going up, and it'll still be pennies in regards to the return on investment that you put into this. Listen, the only reason that I have been able to do anything for myself, work for the 2012 Barack Obama presidential campaign, AOL, the Nielsen Company, the U.S. Department of Defense, coming from one of the poorest neighborhoods in the country, Jamaica, South Suicide, Queens, where they almost shot me when I was like 16 for saying hi to somebody's girl. Absolutely ridiculous, and I can't count the amount of times where, by the grace of our true living father, Jagwe, I am here alive today, because I could have gotten shot, bodied, whatever, right? And I've been able to work for brolic brands, iconic and notable, globally recognized, such as I showed you before, is through your education, right? So you want to invest in your education if you're not making as much money that you want to make. And this is part of it. And this is, I'm telling you, it's pennies in regards, not thousands of dollars right now. Understand? And you are working with our premium offerings from the ground up. And we are ensuring that we take every single limitations or obstacles, roadblocks, whatever you want to call them, that stand before you, and smash them so you are guaranteed to meet every single objective that you have set for yourself. Here's a big secret, right? I was performing some research on grants, and I simply typed in grants in the search engine. So you start taking a look at where is the demand. What are funding institutions and government agencies looking to fund? What marks off all the check marks that they have to ensure that they are contributing towards the development of today's workforce, right? And if you want to learn how to perform queries such as like the ones that I'm performing right now and conduct this type of research, just pick it up, the ebook, at bit.ly/RodSQ. You've got a link in the video description and top pinned comment below, and to our spreadsheet, for which I have not charged anyone watching these videos a dime. And if you have not subscribed to our newsletter or our channel, click the subscribe button, click the bell notification to stay on top of every grant taking and cash making opportunity that I encounter. Take a look. EPA announces $4.3 billion in funding for 25 climate projects. That gives you a perfect idea as to what the federal government wants to fund. Climate projects. There are people that are building solar panels, DIY videos on YouTube that'll show you how to build one. You can start an organization that is actually helping us reach our climate change goals to ensure that we don't burn up with all of the heat and climate changes going on, right? And if you manufacture solar panels, for instance, that's just one way of looking at it, then you are in a position where funding organizations are going to be knocking on your door to give you money to continue. Understand? You have to think about it. All right, there is a rice that people sell out in Colombia. I'm just going to give you a quick example. It's an illustration. Don't click the back button because I'll get to the point as promptly as possible. It's called arroz de payaso. In other words, clown rice. After you eat this rice, which is good, in other words, tastes good. I don't know how healthy it is for you. It's got pork rinds, it's got sausages and all this other stuff in it. And it's got so much grease. Look, it's got dogs up in there, hot dogs. Okay, we don't eat, as far as I know, no one in Colombia eats dogs. I don't know. After you eat it, your lips end up as plump, voluptuous, and as shiny as a clown. That's why it's called clown rice. Now, how is that relevant? Give me a reason not to click the back button as yet, Neil, because you have to put yourself in a position in this life, if you want to be financially successful, where you are that clown rice in a certain respect. How is your organization that clown rice? In other words, because they always post up ad hoc food courts where a number of people gather. So perhaps in a parade, in a carnival, on a sidewalk, right in front of a stadium where people are walking out and they're hungry, outside of nightclubs where people are hungry after dancing and drinking, and these people are starving. So it's easy for them to sell out on this clown rice, regardless of the nutrient factor of that. So what are these funding institutions and government agencies hungry to fund? Where are they going to just throw money? Where can they show that they are making a positive contribution towards the development of our workforce to ensure that we maintain our positioning? How do we keep ourselves an economic superpower, okay? These government agencies, they want to ensure that they do things to keep us in power. So, and you can see right here, this is what they're aiming to award. NSF awards inaugural Trailblazer grants for groundbreaking engineering ideas right here. The U.S. National Science Foundation has announced the first grants in its Trailblazer Engineering Impact Award program, a new $18 million activity to enable researchers with established records. Now, you take a look. Biodegradable living materials will develop living materials to create robots that operate autonomously in natural environments and biodegrade when their job is done. Constructing photonic quantum systems by deterministic electron-driven atom positioning. Overcoming the lignin barrier for valorization of forest biomass. Neil, you're talking in Klingon. Hold on. Let me just explain something to you so you can see how achievable these engineering ideas or gaining traction in something. Listen, even if you don't understand the technologies yourself, go ahead and find people and you be the person that leads them to the promised land, the money right here. There was a documentary on Disney. The lady that won it, she's not even from this country. She was born in Venezuela, right? If I'm not mistaken. No, this is not it. Imagineering pitch competition. Priya, let me see, Blue Zone. There it goes. Rising, no, is this it? Something pitch idea competition documentary. Own the Room. Here it goes right here. Who won? So right here. Let's take a look through these videos real quick. Student entrepreneurs. Most of these people were from Spanish-speaking countries. And they speak English, but not as fluent as most of the people that watch this channel, because I've spoken to you on a regular basis. Most of you are from here. This is our land. Understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm not knocking anyone. I'm Hispanic, and look, here she is right here. Daniela Blanco, a student at NYU. This lady right here, she came up with a way to manufacture, if I'm not mistaken, fishing string, if I'm saying it correctly. She's a PhD, of course. But listen, don't let any of this stop you, because the human brain is capable of whatever. You are made in the image of our true and living Father, Yahweh. So there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that you cannot accomplish. I know that's a double negative for those people who are knocking me right now. Look, CEO of Synthetics. I develop machine learning algorithms that leverage small data to help scientists develop new materials, chemical processes, and formulations up to 15 times faster. Raised $650,000 in non-dilutive grants to develop technology. She won the pitch competition. I think they awarded her $1 million, but she's saying 650. Perhaps she has not updated it, and I'll probably send her a message and have her come on the show right here. Co-founder and CEO, obtained a PhD in chemical engineering. Let me see. What does it read? Like, I'll tell you, Venezuela. And Venezuela, I'm telling you, I went to Venezuela, and they don't talk about her Venezuelan background. That's crazy, because I remember it clearly, right? When I left Venezuela and I entered Colombia, it felt like I migrated from Colombia to the United States. That's how bad Venezuela was when I visited last. And she came from that politically torn country right there. And then she migrated here. So listen, if you're coming from that environment and you could accomplish what she did, you could do anything. Right here, look. She was an intern from 2015 where she went to Paris. She put the work in, bottom line. Anyone can do this stuff. Test scores, French. She doesn't have, I don't think I think she got like because she did right here. Show all 4 educations. Universidad Simón Bolívar. Bachelor's degree, chemical engineering from 2010 to 2016. Right? And I'm telling you, poverty stricken. You haven't witnessed poverty until you've witnessed the third world. And Venezuela was suffering from the worst of it. So if she's able to do that much, trust me, there is nothing that you cannot accomplish. Right here, here's some video that you can take a look at what's going on if I could interview her. So just take a look. Cutting edge technologies. Understand what I'm saying? Well, that's someone else. Anyway, cutting edge technologies. And all the people that won this stuff, people from other countries. So the United States is watching this. She represented our country, right? There was a study or report that found that as immigration went up, then the amount of patents that people were filing went up. That means more inventions, more engineering breakthroughs that help us become and maintain our position as a global and economic superpower. That's what the federal government wants to fund. If you're not into it, listen, there's only one life to live. So why not dominate every single space that you encounter? Right now, many of you may be seeing, and your brain may be even complaining, like, why are you going to do that? I take it back to 2003. I was unemployed, broke as a joke, in my mother's home. I had corrected an issue that she was encountering at the time, and I needed to make some money, needed to contribute towards paying her some type of rent, helping her with her expenses. And I opened up the classifieds. Only thing I saw was an opening for a help desk position. At that particular juncture, my experience with computers constituted playing Super Mario Brothers until I beat it multiple times and had calluses on my thumbs. I programmed a little bit in BASIC with my Commodore 64 that I then broke. And I had my name printed all across the screen after typing in a couple of lines of code. That's it. Once I broke that computer, I didn't have a pop or anyone to help me fix it, or so that's it. And then from there, I believe it was splitting a 6-pack with my friend, changing out my desktop's hard drive because I had burned it downloading Kazaa, Napster music onto it. Most of the reasons why people burn their computers. That's it. I studied. Once I found out, I called them up and I said, listen, I want to apply for this job. What's the nick? For some reason, I said network interface, and I acted or something happened with the communication that the rest of the thing sounded garbled. And I said, hello. And then she was like, oh, so you know what that is. All right, cool. So just come tomorrow, take the assessment. And I studied until 4 o'clock in the morning that night. Learned everything about a computer, visited about.com, hard drive, RAM, ROM. Next day, got almost a perfect score. Then I took it again, got a perfect score on that assessment. Landed a job. I was like $10, $12 an hour because I learned, because I was fluent in Spanish as well. They paid me a couple of bucks more. Nonetheless, I landed the job because I decided to educate myself. That's how fast you become technologically sophisticated. Of course, I took 60 to 100 calls on a daily basis, and I got even more towards becoming part robot. I got Ethernet cables in my veins, did that job again when I went back to New York. But listen, you could learn these technologies. Just start, listen, you got YouTube University now, you got all of these places. So, how can you develop a cutting edge technology? Find also people, engineers in the space. Ask ChatGPT. They'll educate you. Ask them to explain these concepts to you as they were explaining it to a 5-year-old, right? And that's just one part right here, okay? 12 groups in Douglas County receive arts grants from states, right? Nonprofits in 10 parishes eligible for $3 million in grants from Super Bowl, right here. Impact 59, powered by Energy, will award grants of $25,000, $250,000 to nonprofits in Greater New Orleans. The New Orleans Super Bowl host committee announced a $3 million grant program, Impact 59. Impact will award grants ranging from $25,000 to $250,000 to individual nonprofit organizations or collaborative projects in 10 parishes in the Greater New Orleans area. Okay? Here goes. Youth development, workforce training, education, health, and wellness, and equity inclusion. So, learn how to structure a program. You could probably do this in your home to start off, right? Or virtually using Zoom, all the technology available now through Google Meet. Hold these courses. You can start to talk about, find out exactly. All right, you go to YouTube, just do computer training, right? Computer training. New course, basic computer skills right here. Here you go. Computer and technology basics course for absolute beginners. You could learn this stuff and you could teach it to other people via Zoom, and you could start charging people whatever you want to charge, $10, whatever it is. Start generating revenue. Put yourself in a position where you are selling something, selling tickets to your workshops or whatever it is. How to learn programming for beginners. Basic computer skills for the workplace in 2021. You start to identify where is demand, what are people querying right here on YouTube, and I can give you some more ideas, but that goes beyond the scope of what we're discussing today. So you start to take a look at where are videos that welcome the most views in comparison to the subscriber base. So this right here, you got 144,000 views to 184,000 subscribers. So perhaps his subscriber base helped him obtain that 144,000 views. Ideally, something like this is perfect. So you take a look at 181,000 views in relation to 26.5 thousand subscribers. You take a look at this channel right here, right? You can take a look at the video as well so you can see the flow, what hooks people and stuff like this. And I get deep into this stuff during our workshops. Feel free to pick up a ticket. You start to take a look at what are their patterns of videos that people are viewing on this channel. How to send a Word document as an attachment to email, right? Look, this is incredible. This is like simple stuff for me, but people are still looking for this type of content. Look right here. And he does not have a lot of subscribers. See, even this video right here. You can make a rendition of this video. Just study it, learn as much as possible. Watch this video and include information that's not in this video. Make a better version, the thumbnail. I mean, I discuss a lot of this stuff during our workshops, during everything. Feel free, jump on the If You Are Broke, Do This Now video. That's a video on my channel right here. Our channel right here, because this is for you right here. Broke, as a matter of fact. You go into videos and just do broke. It's the one where I'm in the test right here. Right here. Watch this video. This will give you more information on how to do that, how you can start to build a community on YouTube, and you start to put together these premium offerings. You can put this stuff together in less than an hour, right? And then once you have this, now you've got traction towards building an organization that can qualify for these types of grants. Get it? Bang! Understand? It's like, it seems so complex, and even if the grand proportion of the people that have watched my videos, the millions of people watch this video, you will still be among the select few that actually execute, because that's the key. I'll just give you another example. Leading off of that, I learned how to do internet marketing, right? And once I wanted to learn how to be an internet marketer, I started to take a look at all of the conferences available where I could learn this stuff at the time. They're only holding about 2 or 3, less than a handful of conferences at that time. This is like in 2006, and only about 2,500 people would attend, right? And these conferences had people in attendance from across the planet. So you get an idea. I ran a couple of numbers. I'm like, there's not a lot of competition, because I'd be speaking to C-level executives. They knew nothing about this technology, how to market websites on the search engines, how to drive traffic, how to use social media. So I put myself in a position where there was practically no competition. And that's why I was able to work with all these iconic brands. That's where you have to put yourself when you are applying for these grants. Where is there no competition? Where can you work on the bleeding edge of technology to ensure that you are offering state-of-the-art contributions to your community, towards putting yourself in a position where funders are kicking in the door, waving the 4-4 to give you money, not to take it, all right? So you saw it. If you are doing this stuff into youth development, workforce training, education, health, and wellness. And look, this is not even that cutting edge. I mean, look, youth development, it could be getting kids into sports. You've got a program that's helping them be cardiovascularly fit, if that's even a word. I think I messed that up. Anyway, to ensure that they beef up their cardiovascular states or their physiology so they're able to perform sports or to do work that's intensive to live longer, workforce training. Of course, that involves technology training, education, health, and wellness, mindfulness, manifestation, meditation, where you're teaching people how to do this, how to stretch, equity and inclusion. You're teaching organizations how to ensure that they are including as many people that perhaps are coming from underserved communities, that you're helping people get funded in these underserved communities. Look, all that. Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, and Dwayne Wade's fund grants $230,000 to 2 black founders affecting social good. Right here, you can identify the pattern. Take a look. Anthony, Dwayne Wade, they have established the organization called Social Change Fund, $230,000 to 2 Chicago-based organizations, Gray Matter Experience and the Los Angeles nonprofit All-Star Code, to create the We Got Next program. Okay, founder launched the nonprofit for high school students when she saw the lack of resources and black mentors available to young students interested in starting their own businesses. Bam! You identified the pattern right here. A program that's helping young students in black communities, right, start their own businesses. It was concerning that although we were encouraging minority students to pursue entrepreneurship as a viable option, even as an adult, the co-working and incubator spaces I visited had very few, if any, people that looked like me, right? Stackwell Capital is backed by noteworthy leaders, WNBA players, okay? They got noteworthy people. To mention in the statement, let's take a look at more about what they're doing right here. Social Change Fund. Now, listen, this is the research you need to perform so you get a better idea. Because right now, many of you don't even have your organization structured. You perhaps haven't sold anything, so you can reposition. Businesses do not fail. They simply pivot. And you can pivot your organizations towards doing what you need to get done, so you become the target that these funding institutions and government agencies want and are eager to fund. Why? Not so much to help you out, but to help themselves, because they get to show the metrics we've put in. million or billion, right? Dollars and trillions towards ensuring that our workforce stays competitive. You've got the rising tigers in India and China. And look at all of the people from Latin American countries, right? That they were top competitors in that pitch competition. There's a lot of talent all over the planet. The United States has to stay competitive. That's why they were eager to pick up Daniela Blanco, if that was her name. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Is that her name? Anyway, that's why they let her represent the United States, because that's why the immigration program, look, if it's anyone in Latin America, they're ready to scoop them up, like come through and do that. And they give out, if I'm not mistaken, H-1B or HB-1 visas to people in Asian countries, but we have to stay competitive. So anything that keeps us competitive, that works. That puts you in a great position to take on grants. The foundation is partnered with the Chicago-based organization Gray Matter Experience and the Los Angeles nonprofit All-Star Code to create the We Got Next program. Here are the programs right here. Hustle Hacks, side hustle, can evolve you from a strong idea to sustainable business, but you need forward momentum to take it to that level. Hustle Hacks is an interactive 8-week virtual cohort program designed to upskill business owners ages 18 to 24. So it's a program that helps people become young entrepreneurs. We understand the unique challenges faced by business owners, so they're getting funded. You see that? So you could put a program together. You could start it virtually at practically no cost. You get the cheapest Zoom account, or just do it on Google Meet and keep your meetings down to 40 minutes or less, right? I believe that's what they give you. Right here, you want to learn about this stuff? Join our mailing list. You want to find this type of research? I should call it research, but I have labeled it case studies right here. So you get an idea of what these organizations want. Now, FedScoop. And this I found out. Austin woman entrepreneur wins national grant for Mexican chocolate business. She won one of those grants that I share right here on the grants tab. The Block Advisors grant, if I'm not mistaken, she won. Right here, this one. Fund Her Future Small Business Grant. Right here. Austin woman won it. Well, she won $12,500, not the whole thing. Like, the big one was $100,000. Right here. And you get an idea. What type of business did she apply with? Inside an East Austin apartment, the sweet smell of Mexican chocolate fills the air. After working for a chocolate company for 4 years. Small batch Mexican chocolate company. Highlighting Mexican cacao that I source directly from farmers in Mexico. There's a mission behind this stuff, right? You start to identify what are the patterns that exist among the applications that people submit to these grant programs, okay? So that gives you another idea right there, okay? What is my mission? Am I sourcing my materials from some country that needs that type of help? Am I having service members' wives build or manufacture our products or whatever? Look, 2024 Dairy Plus program, also found it right here. Right here, you see that? The California Department of Food and Agriculture will award competitive grants to California dairy farms for the implementation of advanced manure management practices that address both methane emissions and nutrient surplus. So, you want to get into this stuff? You want to geek out about this? Listen, you are made in the image of our true and living Father. You can understand all of this technology and just come up with ways to set this up. You could set up a farm. I knew a dude that had a farm in his backyard in New York, in Brooklyn, okay? So, I mean, dairy farm, you may need milk. I don't know. Maybe you go buy the milk at a local dairy farm, and then you just have something that's more accessible to people in a more urban environment, if that's where you're located. Some of you may be located in a farm area. Perhaps you do operate a farm. Matter of fact, I'm not mistaken, I was speaking to someone that was actually looking to put a farm together, and I saw someone that put it together like a small farm, and it was just like in a small, 10 by 10 area, whatever the case may be. That's it. You got traction, and you start to talk. You start to reach out to the stakeholders of these programs, whether in the federal government, whether in the private institutions. Take them out to lunch. If you got to drive out to D.C. or wherever they're located, do so. We are all in the business of making friends. And listen, it's all about pivoting, because a number of people are like, oh, but that's not my passion. I want to do this. I want to do that. Look, regardless of whatever is your passion, let's say you want to draw stick figures all day, or you're a sculptor that makes sculptures of world leaders out of bubblegum and silly putty. It doesn't matter. You have to get to the level where you are going to, if you're going to succeed, have to perform activities that you do not like, that the chimp part of your brain is going to complain. No, I don't want to do it. You got to calm it down and say, listen, you want to be in a position of comfort? We're going to do this, right? You start to direct energy to the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, if that's what it's called, I believe. I forget it right now and I get kind of excited. Anyway, this is the part of the brain that gets active once you're doing something that's hard, that you typically complain about, but you have to get executed. You have to ensure you do these things, because the moment that your brain starts complaining, you got to do it, regardless of whatever your passion is. Even as I told you before, if you are an artist and purely doing the activity that you consider your passion, you have to get to know people. There are people that you don't like. There are activities, perhaps proposals and pitches that you have to draft. Of course, you could always hire people to do that. I can help you do that. I'm working with people overseas that can help you get the work done, the legwork required to put you in a place where you have your digital assets set up, where you are performing these activities for which you do not have enough time. We have to sleep, everyone. We have to ensure that we live our lives, so there are certain things, if we want to build a reputable organization that's actually making a positive contribution towards our superpower global stance. Get patriotic, but not in a sense of, at least for me, but ensuring, getting political or anything like that. Well, yeah, but you have to understand what goes on with politics, so you have an understanding as to what the current administration wants to fund. Look, racial equity and community partnership grants support vision care, food access, and more. Right here, look. Northwestern. But let's take a look real quick right here. Using AI to create grants accelerator solution. Take a look at this website right here, FedScoop. You can also find it on the case studies tab on our spreadsheet that you can subscribe to by visiting bit.ly/Neil Rod. Take a look at this video right here. Government agencies play a pivotal role supporting a wide range of public assistance programs. EY's Director of Markets and Business Development, who's EY, Kiana Smith, and U.S. Public Sector AI lead, according to led to establish a product-centric model to address immediate needs, focus on developing and acquiring technological, intellectual properties for agencies. So they're using artificial intelligence, dispersed over $2 billion in funds over the past 3.5 years. We're quite proud of that. In addition to grants management. So if this is something where you potentially have an opportunity for a government contract, where you see what are their needs, right? You get to know these people right here. Just because you see them on YouTube doesn't mean that they're on CNBC, right? You could potentially get to know this person, ask her questions, take her out to eat somewhere, and find out exactly what are the federal government's needs in terms of using AI. And you can, if you're watching me, get on the bleeding edge of this stuff. You can learn about anything that you want to learn, especially on our free education tab right here. I have all kinds of information, cybersecurity, how to code, AI, artificial intelligence, all kinds of information. You get an understanding, what are their needs, right? Once you get an understanding as to what are this lady's needs, a key stakeholder in the government operating these programs that offer monetary assistance, then you start to put together a service offering. You need some more technological backing. Just find out. Go get quotes from people on platforms such as Upwork to have an understanding as to how much they're going to charge you to get whatever it is that these people need to get done. And then you just stack your profit on top of that. You'll be able to find people perhaps overseas or perhaps right here in the States that could do this for a couple of $100 and you charge a few $1,000s. Bang! You got a government contract. People that can help you even write the proposal if they have requests for proposals. You had an idea as to where is the demand. How do you become the clown rice right here? White House announces nearly $100 million in pledges to boost emerging tech workforce. The Office of Science and Technology Policy also teased next steps for upskilling staff and recruiting talent. There you go. So you see that they want to boost emerging tech workforce. They want people that are more technologically sophisticated, because the more that we are technologically savvy in setting up websites and incorporating artificial intelligence powered tools on our platforms to ensure that we follow up with people, that our marketing is in place, that we are spreading advertising. All of this requires various degrees of technological sophistication. So if you're the organization that's providing that training, bang, you're in a position to get the grants, to get the government contracts right here. The Office of Science and Technology Policy said in a Tuesday announcement that the National Science Foundation, U.S. Digital Response, a handful of universities, and other institutions have pledged funding support for furthering artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies talent. Now, there's a big deal right now. You're seeing how the Biden administration were hard on trying to get people's student loans forgiven. They're questioning. They've got institutions of higher learnings, universities, colleges, community colleges, whatever, under the microscope. So people are still required to be always educating themselves, regardless of whatever type or level of education that they've enjoyed or encountered or experienced through an institution of higher learning. You're always learning. The day you stop learning is the day you're dead, if you want to succeed. People who don't want to learn, you want to keep fumbling through Instagram and just watching senseless nonsense, you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to succeed at much, because you're not putting in the work to ensure that you are building intellectual faculty that you are aiming to develop through your sensing capabilities, whatever it is that you need to do to put yourself in a position where you are competitive, where you are capable of performing the tasks required for 2024, 2025, 2030, and this century's economy, by making yourself as sophisticated as possible in everything that you need: marketing, coding, using artificial intelligence, whatever it is that you require. So they're dumping money into this stuff. So you got programs that are helping people become a capable workforce. You've got it right here. And we get deeper into sourcing these types of opportunities again on our Grants for Everyone's Secrets Unlocked ebook. We got the full package. You got the audio book, and the numbers for this is going up, because you are on the ground floor of our premium packaging right here. You see Jonas Koger won a $120,000 federal grant after watching our videos. You see more testimonials right there. Pick it up, bit.ly/RodSQ. And you take a look. So 100 million goes there. New TMF investments. Support AI Safety Institute. Upgrades to nuclear emergency response. White House touts federal action to protect children online. Right here. Federal action to protect children online. The Office of Science and Technology Policy highlighted efforts from federal agencies to support child online safety and privacy. What kind of technologies can you develop to enhance this, right? And if you can't do it, hire someone that could do it for you, or learn it yourself, whatever it is you need to do. And you might as well do something big. Listen, we only have one life to live. Why not be as impactful as possible to make this world a better place for everyone, for your kids, for the future? NTIA makes $910 million available for digital equity grants. The NTIA is kicking off its $1.25 billion digital equity competitive grant program today, making $910 bang right here. Digital equity competitive grant program. Let's go ahead and open this up. Doc.gov. The goal of they haven't even released this yet. Look, subscribe. So just subscribe to this right here. You see this? You see this? This is sauce right here. Nobody on this platform is telling you about this stuff right here. How to qualify for this. Okay? And I'll give you a couple of other hacks that you can execute to ensure that you are as competitive as possible when applying for these things. And here's the key thing, that when you're working with the federal government, you will find opportunities where at least, this is the threshold for which you should always aim, at least 20% of the applicants are awarded by the agencies that are administering these programs right here. Again, look, you got the grant portal, grants.ntia.gov right here. Broadband equity access and deployment, middle mile broadband infrastructure. So with this stuff, I mean, I'll give you a rundown. I've been reading this stuff already. They want to ensure that they spread broadband availability. Whenever I'm driving through the backwoods, we were looking at this house where they were offering me, I think it's like 30 acres, but I mean, the closest gas station was like 30 minutes away. We had to drive through farmland, no signal whatsoever. And I had Verizon, the expensive plan, and we had no signal whatsoever. So if you come up with ways, simply the idea with many of these programs, that you understand, you don't have to have much traction. You have the idea and you start the process and you learn as you go. That's how major titans of industry have made themselves. Understand? Just focus. What comes to mind? What can I do? Go ahead. I know someone who's he's retired, cell phone tower engineer. Go ahead and find these people. You can go to Indeed.com, right? Go to platforms such as Indeed. And listen, don't let anything limit you. Once you start looking at numbers like, oh, I got to pay this guy $100,000, right? Broadband engineer. RF antenna development engineer, $99,000. PDK development engineer. You don't have to talk to them initially. This is just part of your budget. When you're submitting your grant application, I need $99,000 a year to hire this person, right? You put the top, so like that they see, and you're performing this type of research. Field sales, well, you don't need a field sales engineer. Well, maybe you do. You never know. I mean, you put this stuff together, you start learning about it, right? That's what the federal government wants. They want to ensure that they have set up enough infrastructure to allow for as much broadband access as possible. Most importantly, in rural areas. Again, I showed you a website before where, let me see if I'm not mistaken, find where no broadband access. Broadband map. Yeah, this is a start right here. There's other sites that give you this type of information, right, where you could take a look. All right, where there is limited. So let me see. You got to take a look at the legend of this stuff. So I'm just trying to look for, like, let me see. This type of work you got to do. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I tell you, in the meantime, you've got to start making sales with your organization. You've got to, because while you are performing this research to get the grants that can fund your organization, listen, you could start. I started my business having my clients fund my organization, my shop, the people that would work with me. That's the main investment in it. Okay? There's all kinds of ways. You could teach people about what you're learning. If you are one step ahead of anyone at anything, you could teach them and charge them. And that could be your funding right there. No providers found. So it appears that there are no providers of internet service around here. No providers found. So these are all areas where you could target. You start to speak to stakeholders and leaders of these organizations. How can I put together? You got to get serious. You got to get serious if this is what you want to do. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to get serious and learn this material. Otherwise, don't do it. Go get a job. And there is no dishonor in flipping burgers or, just any type of job. Getting a job in certain respects is easier than starting a business, because when you're starting a business, you have to make multiple sales always. At a job, you typically only make one sale. Of course, once you start getting into politics, that's a whole different story. But Austin Woman, this is the lady that won the grant that I told you, who does the Block Advisors. This is the grant program that she won, and you just keep searching right here. You see, you start noticing patterns. It's all about expanding technological assets. And if you even need more help to make sense of this stuff, learning who do I speak to, right? Find your elected officials, usa.gov/elected-officials. Find elected officials that can break this stuff down and could lead you to the correct stakeholders that you have to communicate with in order to get your application going. The federal government will help you out with this stuff. You don't have to pay anyone really to do all this stuff. Like, I'm giving you the information right here. Right here, as I've been giving it to you since the onset of the pandemic. Here it goes. New federal grants could slash U.S. climate emissions by nearly 1 billion metric tons through 2050. I told you about people who are manufacturing solar cells in their backyards, right? They're putting $4.3 billion. All you need is like $1 million, a tenth of $1 million. You understand what I'm saying? Get a quick $100,000 to get you rolling right here. Look, tackle climate change. How can I tackle climate change? Ask ChatGPT. There's so much information available out there. I mean, the hardest thing is choosing what to do. I don't have any money. How do I build an organization that tackles climate change? Let it do its thing. Gain a deep understanding. Look, what I told you. Climate issues. Stay up to date. Build a strong network. Connect with organizations. Start by recruiting passionate. Free online tools. Tello. Okay, this is project management. Create valuable content. Develop educational. Share this. Apply for grants and competitions. Launch a crowdfunding platform. Organize workshops, seminars. Document your impact. A lot of tasks right here. A lot of ways of experimentation. And all you need is a couple of them to succeed. Launch social media campaigns, right? You can start simply with information. You could just teach people about climate change. Take a look. All right, just at climate change. What's the current conversation about right now? Online. Climate change, right? You can start reporting about what other organizations are doing, what Tesla's doing. Sunday was the hottest day recorded on Earth. You see this? Look, NBC did this. These people are not even, I mean, NBC is NBC, of course. But, start to perform data analysis on this stuff, right? Hottest temperature. What kind of ideas, let me see. What kind of ideas can I use to report on, or you know what? How can I aggregate data to show how hot the world will be in 2028, which is not far ahead, right? People are like, oh wow, 2028, how hot it is. Aggregate project, collect historical data temperature right here, right? Obtain data points, gather climate model scenarios, consider multiple scenarios, and you could package this into an article, and you could potentially post it on a platform such as Climate Change. Drive traffic to it. Once you got eyeballs on the magazine, you could slap on ads from AdSense, and you're making money. You could drop videos on this stuff right here. Just go ahead and perform a search on YouTube, right? This is how I'd swing it probably. Climate change. Climate change is making days longer. Study. Look, a study was just released on that. Smoke and fumes. Maybe you could do an experiment, right? And then you could just time the day. You'd be like, all right, listen, today sunrise was at this time, sunset was at this time. In comparison to 1968 on the same day, it was shorter back in that day. Whatever, understand? And you actually performed an experiment like that. You could do that using your clocks, using the gadgets that you have at your disposal right now. Understand? Using nothing out of the ordinary. You could run a quick experiment, and bang, you may have a video that will attract thousands of people, maybe millions of people, and bang, now you're building a community behind your movement. You can use that. Once you start to have thousands and hundreds of thousands of people visiting you, sometimes even hundreds of people, again, you can start putting together membership packages where you are offering more information. See, look, I aggregate information on grants, and that's what I teach you on bit.ly/RodSQ when you pick up the Grants for Everyone Secrets ebook, how to put together links where the grant programs are targeting people just like you. That's the work that I perform. I geek out on this stuff, and I'm always thinking about it. I'm always coming up with new ways to show you how to get these grants. As a result, multiple people have been successful in obtaining grant money, watching our videos, geeking out into it. That's my time. That's a value. Perhaps you have other obligations in your life. You are encountering issues that I don't know about, that you have to resolve on a daily basis. So you refer to me as that source. Perhaps you're operating your business and you don't have the time to go ahead and learn about this stuff. So I recap what I find. So whatever it is that you recap, whether it be climate change, whether it be expanding broadband access, whether it's helping today's youth become tomorrow's technological entrepreneurs, whatever it is that you develop, you geek out on it. You go in, zero, niche down, whatever it is you want to call it, and learn as much as possible about that subject. Always learning, geeking out on the subject in its entirety. What are the stakeholders saying? What are the policies? What is the next presidential candidate talking about in terms of climate change, in terms of keeping our workforce competitive? Everything that the country cares about right now. The AI wars, right? Put yourself in a position where you are the clown rice, okay? May not be the best analogy, nonetheless, think about it. How can I put myself in a position where the stakeholders of these government agencies, these are the programs that most people have reported winning grants from, and where these private institutions that are funding organizations just like mine will be eager to give me money. Watch the video you see on the screen right now so you can learn even more ways to stay on top of my grant taking and cash making opportunities that I encounter